Hi, Just Teen Stress. I'm Hannah Ho, and welcome back to our Teen Stories Told series, where we interview teens or individuals who just crossed their teen years to share their mental health stories and give us their thoughts and opinions on teen mental health. Today, I'm here with the founder of Compassion for Crohn's, Joseph Ricotta. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, Joseph?
Hi, my name is Joseph Ricotta. I'm 18 years old. I'm currently a senior in high school. I was born in New York City and I grew up on the East Coast, but I've been living in Florida for the past 7 years, and I'm super excited to do this interview today.
We're so excited to have you. So, we know you're a motivated student living with a chronic disease known as Crohn's. Talk to me a little bit about it. What is your story, and what was the thought process behind founding Compassion for Crohn's?
Yeah, sure. So I was diagnosed in 2018 with Crohn's disease. I was an avid student. I was also a competitive dancer at the time, so I was training upwards of like 16 hours a week for that.
Oh, wow.
And I was also attending a private institution, and I found that less and less people were educated about Crohn's disease. And I even faced some opposition from some of my teachers and administration, just about accommodations that I needed for the disease and whatnot. So that kind of led me to found Compassion for Crohn's. And ever since then, we've been advocating for students, and it's been a definitely a very vindicating journey for sure.
Mhm. I'm really glad you got that going for you. So, aside from Compassion for Crohn's, you are the co-founder and president of Business at the Top and an intern for Interns for Good. What kind of impact, both positive and negative, have these big responsibilities created for you?
Um, s- so through founding Business at the Top and also Compassion for Crohn's, the impact both of these opportunities have had, honestly, I would definitely say on the positive side, they've made me a lot more organizational. They've made me a better communicator. They've also allowed me to explore kind of my passions. I've really discovered my passion for business during my freshman year of high school. At my school, we had to take like a program of distinction class. And I
Mm,
was like, I've watched my dad do finance his entire life,
right.
so why don't I take like an intro to business class? And that's
Mhm,
really what made me fall in love with business. So through both of my internships at Interns for Good, which is an amazing organization, I recommend it to like every person who's trying to get any kind of intern experience. I did two business-centered, impactful internships. One was a marketing outreach internship for Love Michael, which is a nonprofit organization. And then I also did social media management for
mhm,
a social finance organization. And those were both two really great opportunities where I was able to learn so much about so many different new topics. Um, Definitely a lot of responsibility came with that because
mhm.
with internships, it's not like turning in schoolwork. It's like you have a deadline and you have to
Right.
deliver work by that
Mhm,
deadline. You have to provide a product. So it definitely was a little overwhelming in the beginning for
mhm.
sure. I was taking like I think 4 or 5 AP classes at the time.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So managing all of that work it was a lot, but it definitely made me stronger. It really taught me how to like balance my time, how to fit things in. I would do like internship work, like if I was flying somewhere, I would spend like
Mhm,
the 3 hour flight doing that work just because you kind of have to learn how to adapt to those kind of positions.
mhm,
Um, and then honestly, negatively, I don't think I really experienced anything that was too damaging. It definitely left me a little burnt out at the end of junior year, but I think everyone probably feels like that at the end of junior year because
for
it's
sure.
really, it's like the most stressful, overwhelming time. Like you have the most amount of work, you have the hardest classes, but overall, it definitely made me stronger and it really gave me a ethic that I still use today. So.
So, as you are approaching your final year in high school, how do you think your perspective has changed on mental health from when you were a freshman and now as a senior preparing for college?
Yeah, so my mental health journey from my freshman freshman year to now, who, now I'm a senior in high school who's been admitted to college, has changed so much. During my freshman year, I
Mhm,
was in a really toxic educational environment where I was not only, suffering physically from my disease because I was being triggered by all the stress that I
mhm,
was experiencing academically and with unaccommodating teachers and whatnot.
mhm,
But also, I mentally had experienced a lot of the side effects from that as well. I had awful anxiety, I had really bad depression, and fortunately, I was given the opportunity to transfer to a new school halfway through high school. And that experience of transferring really was kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel for me.
mhm.
Like, it really allowed me to see and realize like I deserve to heal and what
Right.
happened to me. Not only should no other kid go through that, but I didn't deserve that. It wasn't my fault that
Mhm,
other people didn't want to care or become educated about the disease that I didn't ask to have.
mhm,
And I also started therapy, right? Yeah, during like my sophomore year, which was like the year before I transferred, but it was like towards the end of it. I
mhm,
started therapy, and I really started kind of talking through what I'd went through and coming to terms with things, and also coming to terms with forgiveness, forgiving people that had maybe done wrong by me.
right.
But yeah, mentally, I definitely really just honed in on trying to heal and relying on therapy and a good support system. And in any kind of situation of trauma, that's all you can really do. So yeah, I've definitely grown a lot mentally from where I was freshman year. I've definitely healed a
Mhm.
lot.
So, kind of adding on to that, do you think you can tell us how your coping mechanisms have changed over time as well?
Yeah, so my coping mechanisms now are a lot healthier than the ones from my
Uh-huh.
freshman and sophomore year. I won't go into detail, but it was definitely not a healthy way to cope with your mental issues. I highly, highly, highly recommend to everyone therapy. I think everyone should have a therapist. For me personally, I got so lucky. I did have to try another one to get to the one that I currently use. But once you find someone that works for you, that you can like develop a good relationship with, and you can really feel like you can talk to them about anything, that is truly the biggest blessing that anyone can have to cope with anything they're going through mentally. And therapy really did change my life. Like having an unbiased person to talk through, just to talk
Mhm,
through like any issues that you've been maybe having with yourself or other people, or trying to figure out how to feel about different things. It really is the best thing you can do because you really get to know yourself, and it can help you improve and grow for the future. So I would definitely say, as of now, I have much healthier coping mechanisms. I'm a huge advocate of just bringing things up,
mhm.
tackling it hands-on. Um, and yeah, I really would recommend to anyone just be open about it, learn from your mistakes, and get a therapist if you can.
For sure, for sure. So, you did mention that dance was a very big thing for you. Do you continue to dance? And if not, why did you stop?
So as of right now, I am not dancing, but I was a dancer for 14 years. I
Oh,
competed for
wow.
7 of those years. So it was a huge part of my life.
Mhm,
I unfortunately did stop just because it was for a couple of reasons, but the general reasoning for why I did quit was for my physical health mentally. Um, I was bouncing a lot at my school. I had an insane course load. I went to a college prep private high school.
mhm,
So on top of my course load, I was part of the Conservatory of the Arts. I was also a part of some student clubs, and I had a lot of extra course requirements I had to fulfill. And it just kind of tying into the second reason, dance unfortunately just kind of became something that didn't really serve me anymore.
mhm.
And I also became a little burnt out. I'm sure
Right.
anyone who has done competitive dance knows it's
Mhm,
an extremely intense sport. It's all or nothing. And once it kind of stops being fun, or rather you can't really find the fun in it anymore,
Mhm.
it's extremely hard to keep up with that level of training and continue to grow as an artist. So it was just better for me. It was more productive for me time-wise to
Mhm.
step away from the team I was on. But maybe I'll pick it back up in college. A
Right.
lot of friends are dancers, so I continue to support them. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of where I am at with dance right now, at least. But
Mhm.
who knows? I'm open to anything in the future. So,
Right, right. See, it's nice seeing how you dealt with it because I know as a competitive swimmer myself, I'm experiencing the same thing. So it's
yeah.
nice to see that other people are experiencing the same thing and dealing with it in healthy ways.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely a lot to go through mentally.
Right.
It's brutal.
So, as an inspiring individual who takes on many challenges from passion projects to entrepreneurship, how do you alleviate a healthy mindset when times get tough?
When times get tough, I definitely rely on my support system.
Mhm.
I have a couple of really, really great close friends that have kind of gone through things mentally that I've also gone through, or just have been through some really, really, really intense hardships. And I definitely rely on them as my support system as much as possible. I really talk through as whatever I'm feeling with my friends, and
Mhm.
I'm so fortunate that they're very receptive to that. I also, again, I rely on my therapist for sure. Um, and yeah, honestly, to alleviate a healthy mindset, I would definitely say relying on any kind of physical activity too is really great. Just something for you that you really can enjoy that's not like a chore. Like I
Mhm.
recently got really into hot yoga. It's like the first thing I've been able to do since I quit dance
Mhm.
that I really, really do enjoy and
Mhm.
can do without it being like a chore.
Right.
So I would definitely say just relying on a support system, building a really good support system, people who you know are receptive and willing to hear you out or give you advice, and just doing something for yourself that can better yourself and make you stronger,
Mhm.
are two things that I would definitely say I rely on the most if I'm going through a tough time.
Okay, so finish it off. What advice would you give to someone struggling with their mental health, or your last message to our Just Teen Stress audience?
It has gotten better before and it shall again.
Mhm.
Whatever you're going through, always remember there's a light at the end of the tunnel and it will make you stronger. You're not alone, and going through struggles with your mental or physical health does not define you. And do not let anyone define you if you are struggling through anything. And also do not let anyone use it against you if you're seeking help or you're
Mhm.
asking maybe for something to be changed or altered. Because at the end of the day, we all go through mental and physical hardships, and we all have to do whatever we need to do to take care of ourselves. So yeah, that would kind of be the best advice that I could probably give. Unless you wanted, this interview to be like 3 hours long.
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much. So that would be the end. And thank you so much, Joseph, for sharing your story with us today and helping us address teen stress.
No,